Welcome back to Sky Sports News. We're going to head straight back out to Rob Dorsett, who's in Andorra for us. The last time we were with him, a fire had broken out around the gantry in the stadium. Rob, I can see you've had to make your way outside of the stadium. Just explain what is going on.
Well, Joe, let's try and recap exactly what has happened, because an awful lot of 5 minutes or so. It was just after 3 o'clock this afternoon UK time when I was broadcasting live on Sky Sports News talking about Gareth Southgate's team selection issues ahead of tomorrow night's game, when our attention was drawn to a huge fire that had broken out underneath the gantry on the other side of the pitch. We can show you those pictures now, and the flames were very, very intense. Huge plumes of dark black smoke were billowing out from that fire, and of course this is such an enclosed stadium, the Estadi Nacional here in Andorra, that there were immediate concerns about the flats and the residential buildings that were around and behind and above where that fire broke out. But it took the fire engine perhaps 5 or 10 minutes to get here with the firefighters on site, and the ground staff, you have to say, did a very good job in the meantime of trying to dampen the flames down using the sprinklers from the side of the pitch, the sprinklers that are used to slicken up the surface ready for England and Andorra to train and play on that pitch. They managed to get the worst of it under control, and then the firefighters came in and managed to put the rest of the fire out. As I speak to you right now, the firefighters are still damping down inside, and UEFA are trying to establish just how much damage has been done and what impact that might have on tomorrow night's game. Now, we shouldn't speculate too much about the cause of the fire, although I can tell you we did see some Andorran FA staff with a welder working in that area underneath the gantry a little bit earlier on in the day, and it has been suggested to me that that might be the cause of the fire. It's too early to say for certain whether that is, and we'll try and find out more for you, of course. But the ferocity of the fire was clear for all to see, and the concerns for tomorrow night's game will be the fact that that entire gantry is now beyond use. It's been completely destroyed by the flames and by the smoke. What state those broadcast cameras are in above on the gantry, we don't yet know. Whether that structure will be safe in any way for camera personnel to go on there, and in such a small stadium, crucially, that was the area where all of the commentators would sit to bring you tomorrow night's game. So they can't sit there anymore. There's no way they will be able to sit there for tomorrow night's game. Is to go ahead, UEFA have got to make other practical arrangements for the cameras and the commentators, and of course the broadcast rights of a game of this size, a World Cup qualifier, is significant. The other significant point is that I saw significant damage to the dugouts over there, the plastic structures where England would be based. In fairness, it looked like it was the home dugout, the Andorran dugout, that had melted partly because of the intensity of the flames. But so too, we think, of the area where the VAR screen was probably due to be housed tomorrow. And most crucial of all, we've been saying for the last couple of days, haven't we, that this is a 3G synthetic pitch inside the Estadi Nacional. It's plastic, and there was a very intense heat and flames that were over on that side of the stadium, and I could see as we left the stadium that it had damaged the pitch on that side. Only, I would suggest, probably a foot inside from the touchline over there, but nevertheless damage to the pitch, which will have to be assessed by officials here before they decide whether it's safe and appropriate for players to play on that area of the pitch. So a lot of questions still at this stage about what happened, why it happened, and indeed what will happen next with regards to tomorrow night's game. But perhaps the most important fact to report to you today is that I understand nobody was injured as a result of that fire, nobody inside the stadium itself, and nobody in the residential buildings above and behind it. No injuries, no illnesses, no reaction to any individual as a result of that fire. So now it's just the practical damage and the implications for tomorrow night's game that have to be addressed.